We use, as a program for science, we use STEM scopes, and as it pretty much follows the curriculum that we follow as a district. And the water cycle is one of the units that we do cover. I try to allow the students to think out the box and not do your normal poster board. I give them options. They can draw the water cycle. They can verbally speak into an audio recorder and talk about the different stages, if that's the case, because different learners, they display their work differently. No competition. It was pretty much a presentation. They had a time frame, and they knew when they would be due. They pretty much had a week up till that Friday to bring them in. And before them doing it, I also sent home different examples for parents. I showed them different examples in case they weren't really familiar, because a lot of us are visual learners. And they got to see different projects and different science fairs. So they had some type of idea, but I also wanted them to put their own unique style on it, which is what a lot of my students did. So I was impressed. You always want them to use project-based learning, which is pretty much hands-on. And it's a different experience when you encourage students to do projects that allow them to be creative and put their own unique styles and ways of learning, because the way you and I necessarily learn is not the way that they learn. And sometimes you'd be surprised they teach us.
The project came about for me because it was a science project for my classmates and I to do over the weekend. So I went above and beyond just because my classmates could see one of their peers teaching them about the water cycle also. It just came about over the weekend. We had some ideas from my mom. So yeah, we had some plans and where to place things, yeah, from my mom. We just looked up pictures of water cycles so we could know like where evaporation is and where should we place it, and we researched all of the steps for the water cycle. The water vapor leads through the process called evaporation. Do you guys see those clouds above that cool mountain? That's caused by condensation. Condensation is when all of the water vapor comes far up in the sky and becomes water droplets. I was excited about doing the video and painting the mountains, the water. Also, I was excited for when my classmates got to see my project.
It makes me feel proud, because I feel like, you know, as teachers, we don't always know until later on down the line if we've made an impact or if they understand what we're teaching. So to have students and have this particular student go above and beyond of what I asked and what the expectations were, I was blown away. I couldn't have told, I don't know how many times, I pulled them out of class to show somebody. And I had people come into my class because I was just that impressed, and I wanted him to know, as well as my other students, that I appreciate them, because you know, learning sometimes is not always interesting. Sometimes it could be a bit boring, and to show that he gave it 110%, I was impressed, and I was appreciative. My main goal is that they leave with the information that they are needed to be successful in the next grade. And I'm not only focused on curriculum, but teaching life in general. And science is something that always changes. So I think science and math are correlated, so I'm always tying them two together because they go together. And I guess you could just say my goal is to make sure that they leave me with more than what they came with. And that's initially the goal.